day, it was 17-0 Chiefs. They did not keep it down, FYI, nor did Mahomes and Tyreek Hill, who were unstoppable all afternoon, and as a result, Bucs had to play catch-up all afternoon. They got close, but in the end, Brady couldn't pull it out, and the Chiefs walk away with the win, 27-24, your final. Here is the player du jour, Patrick Mahomes, after his monster 462-yard, 3-touchdown day.
That's just the problem that defenses have when they go against us. We have so many good weapons. It's hard to try to take away one guy when we can go to the other guys. And so this week it was Tyreek's week, but I'm sure other guys will make big plays the rest of the season.
Battle back. We unfortunately, left ourselves a big deficit to start, got off to a slow start, couldn't convert any third downs. Just poor execution early and get behind and players got to do a better job. We got to make the plays that are there.
But everybody tried to hand us the Lombardi Trophy in August. You just don't throw guys out there with names. You got to practice. You got to learn to get in sync with each other. That takes time.
All right, Brandon, there's a lot to unpack here. Let me start with you. You really liked what Bruce Arians had to say, but there is a little truth to it. Brandon, what was your biggest takeaway from the Chiefs win yesterday?
That truth doesn't exist anymore, Jenna. I don't want to hear about practice and, it takes time to get in sync. The season's almost over. Come on, you got to start fast. You got to finish strong, and they didn't do that. That's universal in the NFL. I thought this team wasn't prepared to play. They weren't prepared to coach. So they got outplayed, they got outcoached yesterday. When you think about offensively, how disjointed they looked again, they continue to make me use that word. I don't know what they were trying to accomplish in the passing game. They weren't in sync. That's a part of my notes. I'm glad he said it. I mean, on third down, you're throwing the ball at the back of people's heads. People aren't even looking for the ball. Wide receivers aren't getting their depth. They didn't run the ball. They ran the ball 13 times. That's a huge problem. We talked about it all last week. Maybe they need to get back towards the run. Maybe the run will open up the play action. They didn't do that. They leaned into the things that got them into this mess. So I didn't love it. And then to cap it off, you have the defensive side that decided to go man-to-man against the most explosive offense and the most explosive player in the National Football League. I don't get it. They got exactly what they came for. They got their butts whooped. They got blown off the field. That game was it wasn't even that close. The score 27-24 could have easily put up 40 points, Nick.
So listen, this game was tied for 3 minutes. It was a one-score game for a total of 10 minutes, and the Chiefs had a 2 or 3 score lead for 47 minutes. So if you didn't watch, Brandon, you are correct. It was not as close as the final score indicates. And last week, Brandon, after the Bucs lost to the Rams, you said to me sometime during the show, Nick, I'm surprised you're taking it easy on the Bucs and Tom Brady. And that was because I was saving it for this morning. Because you're right, the Bucs' defensive game plan didn't make a lot of sense. But if I told them before the game, you're going to hold the Chiefs to under 28 points, you're going to have a goal line stand, you're going to force just Patrick Mahomes' third turnover of the season, and it's going to actually be a red zone turnover, the Bucs defense would have signed up for that in a heartbeat, even if it involved Tyreek Hill doing backflips into the end zone. They lost this game because in the first quarter, they could not complete a single third down. And in the third quarter, Tom Brady couldn't stop turning the ball over. It was 17-0 before the Bucs got any type of offense going. And I think we can show you the Brady incompletions. Now, if you were just listening to the game, Tony Romo would have you believe it was everyone else's fault but Brady's. That it was one guy didn't get wide enough, one guy didn't get high enough, one guy was on the wrong page. But if you actually watched these third down misses, you know the quarterback was wildly erratic. And then in the third quarter, when the Bucs had a chance to get back in it, Brady had back-to-back interceptions, one of which went off a defender's helmet, and Romo still blamed the receiver for not picking up the hot route. So, Brandon, I think as bad as the Tyreek Hill stat line makes the Bucs defense look, I thought the defense was okay. I thought their passing game and their offensive attack is why they lost and were getting blown out for much of yesterday.
Yeah, it seems like they went with the bend but don't break approach. You know, Belichick was famous for doing that. Look, you think you're getting everything that you want in a run game, passing game, and then you look up, you haven't really scored any points in the red zone. And that defense did that in the second half. You look at Mahomes and that offense, they flew to 17 points. And after that, they started really sputtering. So they had a bend but don't break approach yesterday. I didn't love it because I thought they could have pressured Mahomes more. I thought they could even play more zone a little bit more. That's not Todd Bowles, the defensive coordinator's MO Wilds, but there was a few defining moments in that game. Don't forget about, you know, that interception that you just talked about. Brady could have threw that in the dirt. Instead, he tries to force it in there. It ricochets off of the defenders or his teammate's helmet, and it goes in the air. And you know what we say in the locker room when the ball is in the air? It's tips and overflows and overthrows. You got to have those. Tips and overthrows. You got to have those. That's an interception for the defense. No, that's another one. There's so many universal sayings, and that's one that you'll hear all the time.
I'm learning so much from you, Brandon.
Like, if you this right here, you got to have this. Tom Brady gave his team, put his team in a terrible position. Wilds. Also, don't forget about that JPP roughing the passer. That was bad, too.
Wells, how much of this do you put on Tom Brady? And how much of it do you put on them going man for defense? It just felt like it wasn't. I mean, do you agree with Nick that this was really all on mostly on Tom Brady yesterday?
No, and I know I'm going to be the Tom Brady apologist, but we spent the last 3 weeks talking about how he couldn't throw the deep ball, and he looked fine on the deep ball, Nick. He didn't look like Mahomes, so if we're going to talk about, like, was this a torch passing game, they did feel like two very different quarterbacks. But overall, when we were harping so much that Tom Brady can't throw the deep ball, they should go back to Bill Belichick's system, Bruce Arians shouldn't be calling these, he did fine. He was overall fine. Look, how many points do you need to score? You talked about it. How many points do you need to score to beat the Chiefs? Do you have to beat 35? You have to score 35 points? I think it's a balance in the first quarter. Just because you guys opened up a big lead, you're going to say it was in the balance?
Yeah, because the Bucs kept going. Okay, so that's exactly what I was about to say. So the Bucs kept going 3 and out. The Chiefs get up 17-0. The Chiefs then are up 27-10 in the second half, and the Bucs are in must-score territory. Brady pick, Brady pick. Brady's numbers end up looking better because in the fourth quarter, while the Chiefs are playing soft prevent, they had 2 extended touchdown drives. Prior to the fourth quarter, the only sustained play they had was a dump off to Ronald Jones that went for a touchdown. The Bucs went into this game knowing we've got to score a minimum of 28 to have a chance to win, and they couldn't do it. Like, I'm not going to blame the defense for what we're seeing here.
But Nick, I mean, if we want to be picky here, you have to, because the Chiefs, they're trying to repeat. And if you're the takeaway for them in this game is we have to finish stronger. Like, that wasn't a great second half for the Chiefs against a sloppy Bucs offense and defense. So if I am Coach Reed, I am going in there saying, guys, we played against a team that on paper is really good. They have everything that they need to get the job done, but we didn't put them away when we should have. You know, they went punt, field goal, you know, to end the game. Like, that's not a good series. That's not a good sequence for them. They had everything they needed to put up 40-something points and put this team away. Again,